A wave of shock waves was unleashed later. A few seconds later, everything returned to silence. Maybe he's been executed. No, he's alive. He is the one who created. It was a shock wave at the time. Aim right at the middle of the ass and kill the poor. Middle buttocks just sit low. Nothing happened inside. You look at him in front of you. The middle butt asked the rich man casually. The owner of the building in Hoa Dim. The first person in assigning debts to paint flowers. I happen to know martial arts. The South sent him later. He was worried, damn it. Maybe even an antique knife. I also can't show off the magic. Especially when you face me. He is from Hoa Sun. How could I make a fatal mistake like this? It is also because I was beaten a lot, to the point of not being conscious anymore. Then he swung his sword from above. It's hard to surprise myself. If not, there is no way I will ever use the sword. Really, I can't predict the mood of this masked man. The middle buttocks asked the natural hole. He was silent. Silence is golden. That's not a bad choice. You start to think. South Korea is not an ordinary sect. From the old days of Nam and Hoa Sun, we had a hate relationship. It is impossible not to admit. South Africa is among the greatest disciples of the world. There's no reason for such a sect. There's a way to deal with it this way. Information that we have, it's also quite limited and not necessarily standard information. In fact, as long as it is related to the South, it is done. And he sighed and said, you boys. Just because of the inconsistencies of the past. To do such indecent things like this. Star Road. The Road is one of the world's greatest disciples. They don't use martial arts, but use the money to destroy another faction. That's great, Nam. The old man listened quietly. Suddenly he spoke. Don't have to do that. Paint is also a good thing. Not SAO. What did your ass ask? He continued, you must already know. The mountain had long run out of hope. The sect of the lower has lost its martial arts roots, and there's no going back like Kier's previous paint. Okay? Destruction is only a matter of time. I'm just a guy who cuts the thread. The already fragile life of the flower. A sect that loses its value. What does martial arts exist for? Your ass is angry. Who told you that? He replied, you don't understand what I'm saying. Why a man like you? It's not that you yelled at the school. I mean, who told you that Hoa Sun martial arts has lost its root? I don't want to bring up all that moral nonsense. Then attached to the sect, what are people like? I'd rather you say you're a man of the South and want to beat Cho Hoa paint, kill medicine. He was just angry at him. You just thought you'd been hit a lot by me. And the religion of Hoa Sun and Nam. There's a lot of similarities. Both schools are great sword schools. You remember your past life. You single-handedly beat down a lot of Southern guys. In the competition between the great sects, those with high positions next to each other, there is a law of loss. When I was thinking, he said to me, I'm not a new Southern. The middle butt sighed and said, ah. Then I'm not a Hoa Shan. If you say that, who can believe he is angry? You said you did too. Even if you change your voice. Because you showed me the Great Wall. So I've got something to show you. He pointed his sword at his neck and said, You put it on his chin and you push it up. Keep talking. It'll be interesting if you understand. If you don't enjoy it, it's a great pity. Forward the following words exactly to the name that sent you here. The sword in his hand began to shake violently. He looked up at Theo. He started brandishing his sword very quickly. It's like your arm has split. The big old man is pushed away, because the winds are made of swords. He suddenly thought too quickly. He just brandished his sword. That can create winds this strong SAO. But the sword didn't touch my body. What is he going to do? Middle buttocks speak. The morning flower blooms in your eyes. It will smell the best. Even though it is winter. Since when have you walked behind the rich man? But spring will come again. He walked softly and said, You are afraid to shrink. Above him began to glow a pink color. He loosened the raw. I am in front of the scene in front of me. The buttocks didn't turn their back. You said tomorrow's flowers will bloom on this mountain. Your slashing lines has created countless wings of pink apricot, suspended on middle stitch. The dumbfounded grandfather asked himself, What the hell am I looking at? Tens of thousands of wings of the future are flying on the middle stage. The flowers began to gather. They rushed straight to the rich man. He realized right now, no, this is not. My Hoa swordsmanship for 20, wake up tomorrow delicate. The wings plummet straight towards the public. I was dreaming, right? He thought after being hit. He lost consciousness and fell. Middle cotton collect sword into bag. He fell to the ground. The young man pulled down his veil and spat out his blood. You breathless, you're dead. My inner circle has not yet enough to do this trick. If it was me before, just swing the sword and play. It's like having to use all of your power. You have to find a way or you will die. He pulled up the towel and turned back. Middle buttocks realize someone is hiding in the distance. You call over there. They are traders who go to China. Get out of here. The four men pulled the car closer. He asked who wanted to be beaten and released. All four of them were silent and did not answer. Who wants to be released? All four of them said out loud. A guy told me I had to go right to the CA. Others give reasons, no. I'm going. My family has a job. Yes, well, everyone is united, he praised. There's a chance the four old men are running away. It runs through you briefly. He called to stand there. They are afraid to stand still. You don't know how to think. The buttocks asked softly. A scared man answered. You said angrily. You just walk away. How can we pull alone? These trailers? Please do some brainstorming, please. All of you, check the property of each vehicle. Then report back to me. Obey the orders of all four of them. It will be packed after a while. They ran to the report. One person said mine was 1,800 gold. Mine is 1,300 gold. My kier is 8,000 gold. A strange teacher asked, What is your property so much? You have 8,000 gold. It's very important now. Why these people? Middle ass standing there thinking something. Then you say, Now each of you is driving to the nearest farm. Then bring the money back. We will sell all these properties. You also need to bring a sales certificate. If you change anything, you know my hand. The green-clothed man trembled. Living this early age, it was the first time I met someone like this. A man in a gray shirt raised his hand wondering. But what if we went to the estate? And then run away? The boy sighed. You ask them what they ran away for. Your property has now been confiscated. There's nothing left, right? The rest are here. If you want to get some, you should come back here. The white man asked. What if we report it? The buttocks suddenly raised their feet and hit it hard on the ground. The ground is shaking and deforming. The surrounding forest was also affected by the quake. You threatened to try. If you do that, never come back. Try to run to the end of the world. Because even if you die, I will catch you. The four old men were afraid and had the same thought. If he's this crazy, he doesn't have a door. Let's do something else. Let's go. So they curled their tails and ran away and landed. After receiving money from fur traders, he held the money in his hand and took a deep breath. You laugh contentedly. Then he rushed back to the mountain. Just running and laughing, ha 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 ha. You go back to the mountain. I had a hard morning workout and the clothes were dirty enough. Take off your ass. Self-manipulation. The others complained that they were too tired to practice today. It's early in the morning. It's not really necessary to do this. Middle buttocks feel themselves as comforted. People change too much. This scene has to say. Extremely satisfying. I laughed at something Zhang Hua came to ask. He smiled and looked at the other brothers. Because, until now, I can see people learning martial arts from everyone. I think that's a little weird. But in the beginning, everyone was a martial arts student. Chun Cotton said no. I have the same thoughts as you. The two monks laughed at each other. Just a few days ago, sweating during exercise in Hoa Sun. It's a non-fatal thing. Come on, brother. Chung Myung led the group to train. Originally, everyone has thought only in paint for a while. Then we'll come down the mountain and go home. But things seem to have changed lately. It's all thanks to that guy. Your gold aesthetic. Clearly, that kid changed the paint. This wind is just a small wind. But no one knows it's just passing by. Or will become a hurricane. No one knows that. One thing is clear. It's training early in the morning. It will be effective one day. I told you not to hang there. From the faction, there's a loud voice. Take it off. Take it off. I told you to push all the ingredients inside. Just started doing, and you guys are distracted. There are those. If it is broken, it will be determined without celery for a month. Move, move, move. What are these people doing? They look like they don't understand. I am busy cleaning this house. It doesn't have to be over there. Speak up, warden. Chan, is that cotton? You run back, ma'am, something going on. You explained. They're the ones who did that. This time we will have a big change. You see that too. Our methods are too old. Yes, it is. I am speaking in a strange voice. Why are you standing there? Come in and lend a hand. They brought the materials all the way here. I'm exhausted. Suddenly, you scream and you ignore something. Get to work quickly. Made Chun shoot himself. Yugen didn't even understand what was going on. Just go, follow your brother, follow the direction of your hand. That night in the living room. What is this? Are you dreaming? At first glance, this looks like barbecue. Guys, we have meat for dinner. I can't believe it. They're drooling. Rich and full of stomach. The whole crowd of acolytes rushed to eat this incredibly frugal meal. Everyone is fighting for a piece of duck breast. Middle butt. The change that boy made came faster. I think. It's true that anything in the world can happen. You're right. Suddenly, the electricity is being repaired. The meal also has meat. They each have 2 new martial arts costumes. I still smell this meat in my mouth. Cotton seems to have its own thing. You're thinking something. Chan smiled gently and said that it is good to have money. Ha. Money comes and goes. So fast that maybe the Kier people didn't expect it either. Those people, being poor is a good thing. Ha, there is no other way. But this is the first time I saw the warden smiling like that. Before that we go, I think he's someone who can't laugh anymore. Brother, how will things turn out now? Chinese Cotton replied, I saw it too. The paint is changing quickly. So we also have to be determined. Yogan holding to clothes in his hands. Determination under the change, Kier, Sao. I don't mean money. Chan looked at you. He smiles like a boss. I can't see the Sao. All of those secrets are extremely valuable. They remember when they brought the gold out. That's if you say you accidentally dug it. There is absolutely no basis. Yo one said that kid's acting bad. I don't know what he meant by that. But one thing can be confirmed. The paint is changing. Like it or not, we can't escape the wind either. This sudden change. That's why we need to prepare an iron will. I can't let that kid's work go down the river. Leave the sea. Yo one opened the door and nodded. Don't worry, brother, it's the end. But the middle butt, doesn't know where it went. I haven't seen it since morning. You don't know anything. Master Cho called you today. I'm sure it's still in his office right now. Master Sao again. Well, operator, Hoa-san is studying with Trung Butt. The elder asked. Of course, people should be rewarded. The paint will reward you. That's why I called you here. Middle butter color has not improved much. You can ask for the prize. That's right. Do you want anything? Ignore that pile of property. If you say it without regret, it must be a lie. If you need money, just say so. I'll give you a proper portion. You don't need those. Even though there is nothing to use in the mountains. You are here in your happy face. Give up the ambition of money. It's certainly not easy. Actually, it's not. It's just that the ass feels like it's worth it. You've got a lot. Do you want anything else? Martial arts that you're not allowed to learn. I can also teach you first. If you refuse, you don't need it. I don't want that either. Martial arts doesn't mean anything to you. It's not like that. Martial arts should be practiced in order. Practice before that. I don't think it should be. Chew ass in nasty fucking lap. I'm the one who has to teach you martial arts. Master. There's still a lot of martial arts that I have to teach you. How can we pretend to be natural? Why do we even have to worry about this? What I need SAO. What can paint do for me? Yes, you do. When do you want to go down? Please allow me. There must be freedom in front of you. You have to expand the scope of movement to take care of things. Surprised elders Hoa sound SAO. Yes, training is not just martial arts. Exposure to the wider world outside of Kier. It's also very important, right, master? I know what you mean, but this is against the rules of paint. Even though you are a man of merit, but if we do that, others will be disgruntled. You can't. The elder still has his own opinion. Not violate the rules of the party. I don't want anything else. Chinese cotton squeezes the brain thinking hum. If it doesn't work, there's something else. Oh, you remember Ra. You can see it too, master. Your condition is not good at all. I heard that. If you can drink the wicker, it will be possible to restore the principle. The old man knows what you mean. I've heard that before. So what I want is, can you give me that drink? Do you accept this petition? You in my mind for a while. You said it was Linda. It can help the body become stronger. The elder spoke loudly. Listen, this is called Yuong M, and you're next to it. My ass thought I got what I wanted. Face eagerly waiting. He took a sip of tea. As the head of Hoa Sun, I declare the middle buttocks from now on. Allowed down frosted flowers without the permission of others. Middle as silly man. The old man came over and patted him on the shoulder. But middle ass, you absolutely must not get out of the fog. If you play in the dark, you will not be finished with me. He pushed you out of the room. O chief of human subjects, and Lin Dan is SAO. You can't bring the gods, old man. Actually, the elder didn't have what Linda said. The head of Hoa Sun slowly closed his. He turned to me and asked me, how do you guys see him? Yuangan answered bluntly, very pious. You in the room agree. So you see that too. You am keep talking. He is young, but very wise and quick. Although the behavior is somewhat superficial, but his age is small. It's understandable to behave like that. You look right. I thought in my heart. More when talking to middle butt. I have no feeling. that I'm talking to a young child. At all. Not because of the way it talks. It's in the us. I don't see how naive it is. Usually a child's. What do you say? There was a spirit of a Taoist in him. At that age, there was a spirit in him. If you don't use the word air, it's not going to be all left. You look back and ask, what do you see, brother? The chief's question. It makes you a little bit of a mess. He scratched his head and replied shyly to his master. You also know I don't have eyes. You look smiling. You really are. At least you have to feel something. You hear that, I think. A moment later, he said, let's think. I actually see this child. It doesn't look like a child at all. I feel that way. I stood by and listened to you say that. Not out of wonder. Aesthetic. Ra is not alone in thinking like that. We turn to continue talking. To know what it looks like. It's often in children who think deeply. Or the kids. You have to grow up in miserable circumstances. You look incomprehensible, but it's more mature. Compared to their peers. Doesn't mean it's like an adult. Brother came to answer. But it's not that it matures early. That it actually speaks and acts like an adult. Sometimes I think it's really like an old man. Non. However, the captain smiled at him. You mean the dark side? My hero understands. I understand what you're thinking. But it doesn't make much sense right now. As you can see, he's still just a kid now. You and I answered in unison. Yes, master. You look back and talk. We are not the ones who take advantage of others. It's the teachers who tell them. If that person is talented, then we will help. Let people develop their talent. If that person has a problem, then we'll help them fix it. Tell them to be human. The two of them nodded and said you're right. Then he looked back and asked a ma'am. Where's the remodeling going? You am quick to respond, now because of the mountainous terrain. So suturing the material is quite difficult. They cut down nearby trees to replenish. But the drying and cutting of cut down trees, it also takes a lot of time. You look thoughtful and say that's what Ra is. You're not always unhappy about someone who cares about appearance. I have money like you or me. He smiled and said that as it master. You keep talking, I understand. Now we have to revive the Hua Sect. When you set a new goal, you have to take care of yourself. Adjust yourself. It's the same in every school. To impart new ideas to the disciples, we have to clarify this first. You are very respectful, the leader said yes. When I finished, I looked at you and told you. But this brother, quickly complete the assessment of martial arts. Go ahead and obey your orders and say, yes, brother. But it's absolutely not superficial. It's done. The fate of Hoa Sun, it depends on how we impart knowledge in that martial art. For the disciples, why? The chief continued. You nod and answer. I will look carefully, master. You said, I only trust you. Right now, you are thinking. Should I say it too? 100-year-old book that seems to have just been written. When I found out, I wasn't awake. So don't pay close attention. It's like writing in a hurry. Is this some kind of AI conspiracy? Maybe I think too much. Because there's nothing wrong with the content. Whatever it looks like, it looks real. That means there is an AI that is secretly helping Hoa Sun send us. Who is it after all? It's outside right now. My ass is burning. Stomach secretion outside. Unfortunately, I don't want to give you a handshake. That's why you kicked me out. I have to work hard to write the martial arts secrets myself. Give them something to do. It's a thing without a conscience. Just look at their expressions. It's not that they don't have money. I'm sure they're making Lindan. Nothing is as bad as you want it to be. The headache is gone. Even if you know, you have to be mentally prepared that this is more or less going to backfire. But the problem is, I didn't think it would get to this level. My body didn't recover as much as I thought. This way, at least for the next half year, I'll have to rest. Half a year frozen to death. With a young man, halting cultivation for half a year. It's a fatal blow. This immature body will grow and change. This is the right time to build the internal foundation. If you miss this stage, there will be no chance. I must find a way. There are two ways to restore the fairies. One is a precious spirit. Two, you need the help of a miracle, as the forces transfer. But I can't find you. They know how to transfer power, can be immediately. Once upon a time for a little more. That's why Lin Dan rolled to the ground. But because I eat tomorrow to drink. That's why Lin Dan lost its effectiveness. I think about it. I secretly drank from the head. Just eat a piece and any wine will wake up. Oh wait, the antidote. In the middle of the buttocks suddenly flashed a ray of light. You're glad the aesthetic is there. Lin Dan. Right after that, you plug her in and run. It's not about to be. Bad minds are good sometimes. That evening, after running a long distance, Chapter asked tired breathing, not out breath. He stared at the soaring cliff in front of him. In the heart of the chewable arena. It's the highest and most dangerous cliff. Located in Hoa Sun, it's the middle of 5 different songs. Between the high cliffs, this is where I'm looking. Crazy guy. This is the secret place in Hoa Sun. Only the middle of my ass knows. In the middle of this cliff, there's a small cave that no one's ever found. Or put your feet up. Because it's a very dangerous place, so no AI is allowed to practice in the chewing field. But that's why this has become the most ideal place to avoid the attention of the chief. It will definitely be helpful. Drinking without fear of being discovered by the chief. Or eat meat without fear of being seen by the headmaster. And can take a nap without fear of being caught by the head teacher. Why did the master save me? I met you. He must have been beaten to death a long time ago. It's not that important anymore. In short, up there, there must be Linden marks. If you were the old me, you just need to run too and you're there. But it's a long way to go with this body. Think for a while. My ass turned and ran away, but a while later, I don't know where you got the rope. The tiger returned to that place. Middle buttocks standing in front of the cliff wondering, what if I fly? It's probably 10 times more dangerous. Think about it for a while. Finally, the buttocks are determined to speak up. It doesn't matter. He died once and died a second time. I can't even finish the sentence. You regretted sitting down. It's no different not dying a second time. Then the middle buttocks tied the rope to a tree trunk and start climbing down. Life. God damn it, rescuing Hoa-san is a real problem. That's why they forbid practicing in the chewing arena. It's not just because it's high. Chewable field segment. Why is it called a chewing field? Because it's a sheer cliff, as it's called. There's no place for feet, no place to hold on. At this moment, the middle buttocks carelessly slipped. Or in other words, it's a very unpredictable cliff. The middle buttocks directly fell into the abyss. Middle buttocks panic screaming 7 bars, oh mom. That's it. This is really dead. Fortunately, that was the right time, the rope that held him in the middle. Chew Butt breathed a sigh of relief in the aesthetic. The rope saved my life. Really lucky, of course. People always have to prepare. Be ready in any situation. You haven't had time to rejoice. Then the rope pulled you in by inertia. Just as it's about to crash into a cliff. My ass was quickly used. You shout out the conjunction. Your hand is firmly against the cliff. It's directly cracked. My ass hurts and I have to let go of a hand. You are angry and you are mad. It's not grass, but the swelling is easy to break like this. This scrap body. Right now, middle buttocks glanced to the side. But that. I see the entrance to the hideout. I just try. The length of the rope is ready. I can't believe it's so close to the entrance. You have to stick to the cliff first. Then we have to pause, kill it, and turn it over. The middle ass immediately jumped out. The rope is starting to stretch now. Middle buttocks use all their strength, swing to the left, then to the right. You cook for a long time. Waiting for the right time. The middle buttocks rushed to the next cave. Is this time? I can't believe God wants to make fun of you. The rope because he swayed it so many times. So it broke directly in two. The man watched the rope fall. What is it? He screamed out in a panic, Mom. It can't be like that. The middle buttocks rushed to use the combination technique. I can't believe this time. The rest of your healthy hand. It's also starting to crack. You're helpless. Please don't. The middle buttocks couldn't resist. I have to let go. He crashed into a nearby cliff and went straight into the abyss. Right now, the broken rope was stuck on a stone. And that's what kept my ass out of death. You're suspended right next to the cave. Maybe because of the panic, so the middle buttocks have been lying motionless for a long time. The next second, you got your spirit back. With all my strength to climb up. Middle buttocks tired breathing, not out of breath, mouth endlessly scolding the crazy man tomorrow, Hoa swordsman. He thought, what the hell are you doing building a hideout here? Martial arts training on.